What is going on, Elf Hunters? It is a very turbulent Tuesday on the markets today. Oh my goodness! All right. I mean, we'll look through it. Don't expect like catastrophic bearishness from here. Nice little quick snapback. I kind of wouldn't be surprised if we saw a pretty good buy up at the end of the day, maybe last 30 minutes, maybe last 45 minutes, something like that. I would expect some bulls to probably try to jump in right before the close today. Anyways, yesterday I kind of got off the mic as we did this little pump right here, and we didn't really do too much after that. Had a nice little rollover, basically just taking out all that little bullishness. It just kind of came back down. It closed at the lows of the day, roughly, kind of where we were in the morning. Didn't make new lows, but got down there. Nice little gap down here then on the SPY for Tuesday. And we did gap down about 0.4%. And then we just hung out for the first 30 minutes, and then we traded lower, right? Then we traded lower then for an hour. It was kind of where we were for a few hours, kind of just chopping sideways here. Then we just started rolling down here the past hour and a half. Daily low, currently right at it. So that's kind of how the day's going. Currently down a little bit over 1% on the SPY. But yeah, I mean, we've been running hot for 4 months, and we still haven't even broke daily moving averages. So we'll take a look at that. Qs, same kind of pattern. Not really too much indifferent, except for a little bit more of the bearishness right there out the gate. A little bit more of the trade lower. So Qs, I think they got down around 0.8%, I believe. It's about 0.7, about 2/3% of a gap down there. So yeah, they gapped down pretty good, trading lower. Yeah, not too much indifferent from the SPY though, as far as kind of how the look and feel of it's going today. IWM, nice little gap down here. Interesting. I haven't looked at the IWM all that much today. Let's see, how are we doing here? 2/3% of a gap down here. Traded back higher. Actually got positive there in the first 30 minutes. And then traded back down the daily lows. Nice little buy up here. Kind of going on the midday. But we've kind of rolled that over. So, okay. All right. DIA trade. Nice steady downtrend throughout the day. Looking okay. Nice little drop here. Start the day down to 30%. But yeah, just trading lower throughout the day. Currently down almost 1%, not quite. RSP gap down pretty good. Positive first 30 minutes. Chop back down to the lower ends of the day. Kind of rolling over at daily lows right now. Let's take a look at these dailies. And that's the thing is, like, I mean, we might be down pretty good on the market, but we're not at breaking really any major moving averages. RSP, interesting, still has not been able to take that all-time high number that was put in early 22 or late 21, whenever that was put in. When was this? Early 22, very beginning of the year. So, a little bit of an upper wick yesterday, a little bit of upper wick kind of coming in today, obviously with the buy up the first 30 minutes at daily lows right now. I mean, we might just pull back a little bit more, get into the moving averages, and maybe we push higher. I would imagine the RSP does take this high here. Doesn't look like it'll do it now this week unless we have a pretty good buy up towards the end of the day. And then maybe continue higher, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, something like that. But as for now, I mean, it's not really a big deal. DIA is showing a little bit more of a breakdown here. Getting through this 20 moving average. Did it before. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to watch out for those daily, like the end of day buy-ups that you know, somebody out there is going to try and do. I'm very kind of interested in this lower high here. I want to check this MACD. So we definitely had, as we continued higher, we definitely had divergences here on stochastics. As stochastics continue lower, so the MACD also continued lower. So the histogram. So you definitely have a little bit of a divergence here. Price action to, let me get rid of this. Price action to the indicators here, but the thing I would say is it's a resting divergence. It's not really a bearish one completely yet. So, I mean these might just continue to kind of hang out around the lower areas. If we see some definitely a lot sharper of a sell off, and then we see a kind of a prolonged side bullishness, and the indicators kind of make a run back up to these highs, but they make a lower high on price, that's a bearish divergence. I would be much more interested, but until we get that, not interested. I mean, this could just, I mean, we could just be in a choppy kind of pullback here. Not really a big deal. In my last couple of days, my last week, I mean, we're just kind of to see maybe how we close by the end of the day. Nice little upper wick from the gap down today on the IWM. Yep, I mean, could be pulling into the moving averages. Not really too much kind of going on there. Q's getting hit pretty good today, down 2%. I mean, that looks kind of significant. Obviously, you're getting pretty close to this kind of alert level where it's like, okay, we want to know what's kind of going on. To me, with how quickly we've kind of pulled back, I am not really, I wouldn't really want to be taking that bearish, mostly because if we break through this level all in one go, and you know we've kind of done it rather quickly here, I would expect the bounce up to this level. At that point in time, then you could probably talk about maybe taking bullish positions off, maybe taking some bearish positions, something like that. But for now, I mean, for how quickly we kind of came back down, I think for now, even if we did get through this level here, I'm not really going to be too concerned about it. Or as it approaches it, because you're going to get people that kind of try to buy here at this level. You got the 20 EMA right there. So yeah, I mean, if we make a move lower, maybe come down to the 50, come down to these lows, then, I mean, then we'll talk about that game plan. But for now, yeah, not so much. Yep, 10 EMA right here on the SPY. That's kind of where we're sitting. Not really a big deal. I mean, this could be the top. Maybe we do roll over here for the next few months. Not really, I'm not going to say be bearish here because we obviously have super strong momentum. Obviously, everything does kind of come to an end, at least at that pace, right? At that pace, things come to an end. Yeah, not really much else to say about that. We'll just see how things kind of set up here over the next couple of days. Not too unexpected that we pull back at least a little bit. I'm going to look at big tech stocks real quick. AAPL, a big reason why I'm going to do that is because AAPL. So yesterday, and even the previous few days, kind of talking about, man, AAPL is just hanging this 180 level, just hanging on to it, grasping it with everything it's got. Pretty massive gap down yesterday, getting below that lower hammer that was put in on Friday, and we continued that breakdown again today. And kind of mentioned, if we got through that 180 level, you're probably just looking for AAPL to come back down to these levels, below 170, and that's basically where it got to today. It came down, took 170, so very quickly went from 180 to 170. Guys, don't be bearish. There's going to be people that are buying the dip in this zone, anywhere between like 170 to mid 160s. Just don't be bearish right now. I mean, you're going to have to see how it kind of things set up. If we break through this zone, you're just going to look for the pullback into this zone, into this like mid 160 level, and you're probably going to take that bearish. But I wouldn't be bearish here, just because, I mean, it's very clearly people bought there before. Microsoft, the shocker today, man. Microsoft's down 3%. Oh yeah, Apple was down 2.8%, but Microsoft being down 3%, that's kind of a interesting one. Look at the intraday. Like people came out and sold this sucker the first hour 45 minutes. Hour 15 minutes. My apologies. Yeah, I mean, Microsoft got hit real hard on the open. So interesting. That's all I can say. I mean, it's one day, and we had a 1 day back over here on January 31st. That was its earnings day, but it really hasn't done much since earnings, right? We've just kind of been more sideways, kind of just choppy. Trying to find some other. We had a pretty bearish day over here, down 2.25%, but you can see we kind of just chopped back higher. So yeah, I mean, yeah, Microsoft having a pretty bearish day, but I mean, it's not like it's the end of the world. I mean, we haven't really broken any major kind of technical levels. I would say a pretty significant one would be here around 397.50 or so. After that, you're probably looking for a pullback, maybe down around 380. So, yeah, Microsoft. Nice little pullback there. Yeah, Alphabet. Alphabet's been struggle busting this year. The two big tech stocks that have been struggle busting this year, AAPL, Alphabet, not really positive on the year. And you see Alphabet doing okay today, especially compared to the rest of the market. It's only down 0.2%, so not horrible. Not horrible. Meta down 1.7%. What's really interesting about Meta is they had an outage this morning. They had, like I say, an outage, but they had some kind of issue preventing, knocking people out of their services like Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of interesting. I guess it was like login issues or whatever. I don't know if it's been fixed. It's kind of interesting to see Meta only getting hit by 1.7% when the market's down 1%, and they had an outage as well. So, yeah, I would have thought they would have been down more than just 1.7%. Amazon having a nice little pullback, 2%. I mean, this is probably just a lot of profit taking, people locking up gains. Remember, this trend's been going since the end of October, 4 months. A lot of stocks been rip roaring higher. Here's Nvidia. How good is Nvidia doing today? Oh, they're flat when the market's basically down 1%. Tech down 2%. So, yeah, that's Nvidia. If the market's up, it's up 6%. If the market's down 1%, Nvidia's flat. So it's just kind of how things go. I would have thought Nvidia would have had some bearishness to it today, but not really. Here's what it looks like intraday. Yeah, quick pullback in the first hour. People took the opportunity to still buy it up. And then I'll just look at Tesla for grins. Yeah, yesterday was a massive breakdown on Tesla. Still down 3.6% today. Tesla's at a spot where you probably are not going to want to be bearish. You already see where we've formed a pretty good lower wick, where we kind of bottomed back in the beginning of February. Unless we get through that spot and then retest into it, you're not going to want to be bearish here. Yeah, you're probably going to want to see it break down, get down to below 160, maybe mid 160s, and then look for the bounce into the mid 170s and take that bearish. I do like this little sideways pin pattern that we have put in. If we go to a weekly, I bet you it's a little bit more obvious. Yeah, you can see it's a little bit more obvious there on a weekly kind of time frame. Let me get the marker. So you can see a little bit of a inverse flag pattern there. And breaking downtown. There you go. So yeah, Tesla not looking good. Not looking good. Good grief, I cannot type. All right. Let's continue to just look around the market. What do we got here? VIX. Okay, so if you remember back on this day, February 13th, let's go take a look at the SPY. So we were down, but we gapped down and we didn't really do a whole lot. We were down 1.4% on that day. And I guess it was a bearish day. We're down a little bit over 1%, or about 1% now, and we're barely higher, right? I mean, so it was just super weird on how the VIX was kind of performing there to start the year. We had like 0.25% down days, and the VIX was just climbing. And we finally got like a pretty good 1% down day. Like the VIX is up, but it's not really climbing super hard. But so yeah, maybe we'll see what happens to the rest of rest of this week. I'm really kind of surprised the VIX hasn't been higher throughout the week, especially with the Fed testimony starting tomorrow. We get jobs data also this week, so yeah, there's some pretty important stuff. We also get JOLTS data tomorrow morning, so pretty interesting stuff coming the rest of the week. Dollar, nice little lower wick there, kind of. Yeah, I mean, people are trying to support this level. You can definitely tell we got a lot of lower wicks here over the past 2-3 weeks at this level. Maybe we form another little base here, kind of like a little double bottom, and then maybe we push higher. We'll have to see. Gold, oh my goodness, GLD looking so good. You look so good. Take a look at those futures, because we have not hit gold futures all-time high yet. We got really close today, really close. So not quite there on the futures. We keep up with that pace, and the interesting thing here on gold, but if we keep up with this pace, I mean, it'll happen tomorrow. But the interesting thing here on gold is you look at the move higher here on gold, dollar not really doing a whole lot. Like it's down here over the past 3 days, but it's not massively breaking down. Not like it was back here in December. 10-year yield. I mean, you say 10-year yield's breaking down, but what about yesterday? Yesterday yields were up and gold was up pretty good. So, yeah, just kind of an interesting one. Gold looks very, very strong. I would actually rather be more bullish on gold here for the next few years than the stock market, which is kind of weird because I like playing the stock market a lot more than I do the commodities. 10-year yield, nice down day. All right. I have no idea what really spurred this, and it might have just been technical breakdown on yields and bond prices that kind of spurred this. Kind of was talking yesterday that you wanted to see the follow-through day after Friday breakdown. You want to see that follow-through day back lower to kind of say, okay, we are definitely rolling over. The one thing I'll say is if we start to rally and get above the breakdowns, then we are going higher. And it's like we won't even consolidate sideways. We will go higher. So that's about it for yields right now. Yields look like they have broken down, but if they reverse off of a clear breakdown, they will go higher. And that will be something that will be problematic for the stock market. 10-2 inversion. Yeah, pulling back a little bit. That's it. We'll see what happens. It might be tomorrow. HYG, interesting. So HYG's flat. We'll see what the other bond prices are doing. I actually would have thought HYG would have been higher. LQD, nice gap up here on LQD. Okay, I would have expected the HYG to be doing something like that. So that's interesting. HYG's not more bullish today. It's kind of just flat. But the LQD had a nice little gap up. Hasn't really done too much intraday. TLT, nice gap up. So TLT did form like this kind of base here. But if I do draw a straight line here, we do have a downtrend. So if we do come in contact with this downtrend, that would be an interesting one to see what happens. Especially if we start to pull back here on bond prices and sideways consolidate. We don't just rip roar from here and break this downtrend. Yeah, that would be an interesting one. Plenty of days to figure out which one we do, and we can talk more about that later on. As far as sector performance goes, not a bad day across many of the sectors. You can just see XLK Tech is getting hit pretty hard. XLK down 2.75% today. Whew, that's a rough day. Discretionaries, real estate, also slightly bearish, kind of in line with the market there. Outperformers, all the other sectors are outperforming on the day. Healthcare, communications, industrials outperforming there. Materials having a pretty good day. Utilities, financials doing good. Staples doing pretty good. Energies look like they're doing really good on the day. If we take a look without the gap, because we did have a decent gap today, you see energies. Yeah, energy is doing pretty good throughout the day. You see a lot of buying. It came in the first few hours, first couple of hours there. On the energy side, financials also doing pretty good. Staples, materials, communications, utilities, discretionaries, and industrials. What's interesting about utilities, they were actually doing really good to start the day. First hour or so, hour and a half, they were doing really well. And then like that second, third hour, they got hit pretty good. At least coming back down. Not negative, but oof. Some real estate doing pretty good. They were strong early on, but they've kind of just faded throughout the day. Real estate, healthcare also underperforming a little bit. Yeah, you just see tech has just continued to get sold off throughout the day. Profit taking, best. I mean, where's people have the most gains in tech, right? Tech.